Guys. Yeah, I was. I said hello. Apparently it didn't go through, which is nice. I had loads of issue with the OBS, of course. Yeah, otherwise it's not fun. I basically had to reset everything. Oh, and I'm
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Backfire Simsport TV, and welcome to the BSTV TCR Challenge. This is season 12, rounds 3 and 4, and although the stream says Sebring modified, the drivers tried to drive it, couldn't drive it, gave up like big girls, and the admin had to change it to the standard Sebring International Circuit. But more about that later. I'm Clyde Whiting. Glad to be back in the booth for this series. I've not done it for a while. And joining me is the stalwart after his arm injury. Now, gentlemen, you know all about arm injuries. It's Sir Alan Toon. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Here we are in America, watching the cars going around, but only just because I've only got a little tiny thing in the middle of my big screen. But I'm sure we'll sort that out shortly. And yeah, my pleasure to be here.
Yeah, well, enough about your personal problems, Alan. Also, coming out of retirement for one night only, because Pete's swanning away somewhere. I think he said Italy, but the chances of Pete planning on going to Italy and actually getting to Italy are very remote. Let's welcome back our professional cameraman, Mr. Sam Boozin. Good evening.
yeah, good evening, really. Professional, not so professional today, but we'll do it. It'll be fine.
Isn't it? When you haven't done something for a while, you get all the gremlins at once. But while you're sorting that out, let's have a chat about tonight's racing, Alan. So as we've said, we're at the full layout, the international layout at Sebring. We've got a massive field for you tonight, over 20 cars. I've suddenly got an echo in my ear. That was really weird.
That was me
yeah.
picking up my phone because I can't see anything on the screen, so I'm using
No,
my phone.
it's not on there properly at the moment. I think Sam is busily trying to sort.
Yeah, but I can, no things up there, but
I think
I can see what's going on with my camera thing, and I've turned it down now, so I can see cars on the track, and yeah.
Excellent. Well, we are halfway through the qualifying session, Alan. Last time out, you was telling me there was a win for Sam Blees and a win for Spencer McCarthy. No surprises there. But I did watch a bit of the racing, and I must admit, what iRacing have done to the BOP this season with these TCR cars looks like it's made it very, very exciting. What do you think?
Oh, I said last week, I really think it's the best change in VOP that I've ever seen by iRacing. It's really changed the dynamic and the zeitgeist of these races. All the cars have really got a good shout. We're seeing really a lot of mixed car racing. We're not seeing one car getting away and dominating. Everybody's in with a shout, and yeah, very exciting. I'm really, I think they've really played a blinder with this, Clyde. Really did.
Yeah, and just looking at the times, you can see how close they are. Interesting to see wobbly kneecaps up there on provisional pole at the moment. Spencer McCarthy second, David Johansson in third. So our usual format for tonight. This qualifying session is 15 minutes. Heat 1, which we call the sprint race, is 20 minutes long, and then we have I believe a 5-minute break, and then we go straight into the feature race. So lots of points on the table tonight. Alan, just had a quick look at the standings at the moment. Spencer McCarthy leads the way, Sam Blee second, Stephen Walker in third. So you could pretty much pick this up at any season you want, and it wouldn't be too much different from that. In the team standings, Geodesic currently lead the way. Spectre 6, spelt 6, is second. Spectre 6 with the number 6 is third. And then Jamie, it's Team Jamie in driver of the meeting. 1 vote for Jamie Jeffrey, 1 vote for Jamie Wilson. So that's where we are. We've only had 2 rounds so far. This is rounds 3 and 4. Alan, what are you expecting?
Oh, well, I don't know. We're still in the early stages of this. I know you pointed out that it was our great triumvirate of drivers at the top there, and you can expect that. But the Jamies did exceptionally well last week. They did, and they carved up the Driver of the Week awards between them. So there was some fine driving by both of our Jamies, and so there's this competition bubbling up all the time, and the change in the cars has really changed people's prospects as well, I think. So I don't think that, the other thing about this, there's a bit of draft on offer here. It's not the easiest track to get away. You know how close our grids are all the time. The times are so incredibly close. It's not so easy to drop people here. This is where we get big clumps of cars nose to tail, because the draft is so good that people can keep hold. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Maybe not in the 20-minute race, but certainly in the feature race, I sort of expect that we'll end up with like 3 groups, maybe. An alien group, an also ran group, and then the group that is improving all the time. And looking down through the list of names, obviously I haven't done this for a while, so nice to see Mark Draper back, nice to see Stefan Goebel back, and a new name for me, David Johansson. Don't know anything about David, but he looks quick, so yeah, we're set for a decent race, or a couple.
Yeah, great grids. I mean, the grid's been fantastic, isn't it? It looks good, and the cars are handsome, really. And we've had great racing already. So we've had one really gorgeous evening where we had fantastic racing, and I'm expecting more of the same, to be honest, because it's what we've come to expect.
Yeah, we've been doing this series for a long time in different guises. We've had the GT4s in, now we've had a few seasons of just the TCRs, but they certainly put together some really, really close racing. It's a fantastic bunch of drivers. There's no malice, there's plenty of help, and it's a typical BSTV league.
Yes, well, we're fortunate. I think BSTV probably promotes the right kind of attitude from people, and then you become a load for people who like to drive with a bit of respect and give a bit of room, because the racing's as important as the winning.
Yeah, and I think maybe the discipline from the drivers goes down to the fact that I've got a long stick with a nail in the end of it, and I don't mind using it.
I've got a very nice picture on my screen now.
Yeah. I know Sam's still having troubles with our Discord stream, so I'm sure he'll be working on it in the background.
That was a good one there.
We are almost at the end of qualifying. Sam Blees looks like he's popped himself up there.
Oh, he did this last week on the sprint race, and he just drove away from the front. He had such pace.
Yeah.
He did. But I think Wobbly's supposed to be quick today. I haven't looked at the times. So
Yeah, Wobbly's still up there looks like he's qualified second. Let me have a look, see if I can find my glasses. There they are. Right, so let's run you through the grid quickly. Pole position, Sam Blees. Second, Wobbly Kneecaps. Third, Spencer McCarthy. Fourth, David Johansson. Fifth, Mark Draper. Sixth, Gary Craig. Seventh, Stephen Walker. Eighth, Matt Elmore. Ninth, Stephen Goebel. 10th, Chris Needham. 11th, Russell Cowell. 12th, Jamie Wilson.
But there's nothing in the times.
Yeah, 13th Tony Yates, 14th Matt Flannery, 15th Jason Haddington, 16th Arnaud Chenonnier, 17th Jamie Jeffrey, 18th Tony Walker, 19th David Ayres, 20th Ant Woodward, 21st Roger Morton, and 22nd Andrew Littler as we prepare to go green.
This first corner always looks fantastic, doesn't it? When the cars come pouring around T1 and they're 23 wide.
I absolutely adore this track.
Yeah, it's one of my big favourites. I've got nostalgic memories as well as, making new ones every time you come here because we get great racing. But I've had some great racing myself in here. And I have team mats as well.
Drivers are currently flashing their lights thinking that Pete is in the booth. He's not, and I really don't mind if you flash your lights. Okay, lights are about to come on. And we're green. Looks like a fairly decent start for everybody all the way back. Cars are panning out 3 and 4 and 5 wide.
So his fingers crossed.
Into turn 1. And it's looking, don't speak too soon, Clyde. It looks like everybody got round turn 1 nice and clean, Alan.
Yeah, really, really good. I love the way the cars look streaming around there. Though. It's a fantastic sight. But yes, everybody's got through clean. That's a big plus.
So, evening 2, who will we have chatting? We've got Mr. Tony Kloosterman, the V8 legend, on the chat with us tonight. And we also have Simon Trendle. I don't know how I managed to pick that one out from the back of my head, but there it was. Just so the folks at home know, we are still having a few issues with our commentator screen, so apologies if we miss any incidents. I've just seen Ant Woodward in the grass. I don't know if he did that all by himself, but he's dropped to the back.
Yeah, it's the grass is lethal, but there's a bit of runoff room here. It's not a lethal track by any means, and the corners are so sweeping and so delicious.
Yeah, there's a couple of places here, isn't there, Alan, that you don't want to go off, but like you say, it can be fairly forgiving. Slow down on that last corner can be absolutely awful, but what you do is you don't go wide, and then you don't get it. So
it's walls are my and there are the walls aren't bad here. There's that the wall that gets me is the one under the bridge.
Yeah, it can do.
This one here, as we're coming to now, this one is dangerous.
Cars going through Sunset Bend should be renamed the Land of Bumps or something like that, because
they're all
it
going
is
wide,
absolutely awful.
Everyone's taken that wide line tonight. Swooping around the outside. Nobody was tight.
Yeah, not sure what happened to Spencer McCarthy. He gridded 3rd and is currently 9th. guessing, I think Sam may have just said slow down in my ear, I'm not sure. But apart from that, we've got Sam Blees still leading wobbly kneecaps, and then David Johansson promoted up to 3rd place.
Well, if he's got past Stephen in a clean pass, that's very good driving. So that's not easy, is it? By any means. 20-minute race. You wouldn't expect anybody to want to give any ground, and there's not an awful lot of time to make anything back if you lose anything with a wheel on the grass or get a slow down or something.
No, that's right. With the 20-minute sprint race, it literally is most of the time one mistake and it's curtains for, you know, any decent finish that you was hoping to have. However, in the feature race, double the time, 40 minutes. So, you know, sometimes you can get away with making a mistake and getting it back, but the class of these drivers, it's very difficult, isn't it, Alan, once you've made that mistake. Oh, I think we've got to slow down for wobbly kneecaps as well. He picked one up on that last bend. He's lost 2nd place. It's going to lose. Yeah, he's going to drop down to
he's dropping
4th
back.
now.
Yeah, goodness me. That was expensive, wasn't it?
It certainly was, but that's why you got to keep it on the track. But there is such a fine line on that slowdown on the last corner. So as we go over the line at the end of lap 2. What have you spotted?
Purple and black car. He went sideways slightly. Saved it okay.
So Sam Blees currently still 1st place. We've got a big crash somewhere. Oh yes. Who is that? That is Jamie Jeffrey, Matt Elmore, and possibly Chris Needham all involved in that. Luckily, it's getting dark, so nobody can be embarrassed. But yeah, as I was saying, Sam Blees still leading the way. David Johansson up to 2nd. Stephen Walker up to 3rd.
Well, that's Spencer's a master of the fight back, but
yeah, Spencer has got he's up to 7th place. Wobbly kneecaps putting a lot of pressure on Stephen Walker. Gary Craig
together, but
yeah, Gary Craig is trying to put some pressure on to wobbly kneecaps. Yeah, it's a nice 3-car battle there, and to be honest, David Johansson isn't that far ahead of him either. So lots to play for there. Currently, we've got, you can see this battle on your screens now. Russell Cowell, no, sorry, that's Spencer McCarthy has just got past Russell Cowell up to 6th.
He's making a gap against us what he did last week. Early on, he just had an amazing pace.
Stephen Walker under all sorts of pressure, but had to bail, and that has really brought Gary Craig into this battle now as well.
Yeah. If they stop, well, you know, this is someone would be delighted. He's just putting his fastest lap. He's just putting the purple lap, and thank you very much. He's saying if they stop, he's not going to get a cord at all, is he?
Yeah, it's, you know, not that I've led many races, But if you do lead a race, what you really want to see is either an absolutely massive pile up behind you, or an absolutely massive battle with lots of cars involved, because either or are going to stretch your.
Yes. Yeah. Well, no, some won't mind these being ferocious behind him, and yeah, 4 very able drivers. It's one mistake stuff, isn't it? Like you said, it only takes one error, and the whole thing can go away from you.
Yeah,
And
and
spreading
that
out,
can,
like you said, they're spreading out now a little bit.
yeah, that can happen to the first car in the field or the last car in the field. So,
Unusual to see it so dark.
yeah, I'm not really. I've not really had a great deal to do with this series this season or even last season. But I think there was a discussion about running these races at the same sim racing time as the officials. So I believe that's how Pete set it up. Unless he's got his 9 a.m.s and his 9 p.m.s mixed up, which is again always a possibility with Pete. But yeah, it's not a great track for night racing, but there's plenty of cars on the track. So is that? No, I believe that was the same accident. Just caught that out the corner of my eye.
Ouch.
But yeah, like I said, plenty of cars, plenty of headlights, and it's not too bad.
I think Sebring's one of the better ones for night driving. They're very generous with their cat's eyes.
Oh, who's that? That's wobbly. There's something going on up the front.
Oh no.
The cars are backwards, forwards, changing positions. Something David Johansson got done there. Stevie Walker and Wobbly Kneecaps have got past him, but he's back on the rear bumper of Wobbly and putting some pressure on.
So I've got 3 seconds. Does it say 3 seconds?
I'll tell you something. Spencer McCarthy was almost in Gary Craig's boot there. We do know that Spencer is the last of the late breakers.
Spencer was the one who was going almost sideways under the bridge. So he's trying very hard. He is. I think he wants that place back, doesn't he?
Well, there's 4 positions that he can see out of his front windscreen.
Yes. David's doing very well, I think. New to the league, and he's really competing right at the top end here, isn't he?
Yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about David. He's obviously I follow the chat that's going on our Discord, and he seems a very affable chap. Always involved in the conversations that are going on, and also seems to be able to pedal. Wobbly Kneecaps now trying to put a move on Stephen Walker. He's up the inside, but Stephen Walker will get a better run from there, and does, which has immediately put Wobbly under threat from David Johansson. Spencer McCarthy has got past Gary Craig. That puts him up to 5th, with 4th, 3rd and 2nd all visible in front of him.
It's a tight piece of track, and they're very close together.
Yeah, still 8 minutes to go.
That's brilliant. This is no old barge, isn't it? You can see how hard they're trying.
Spencer put an absolutely awesome move around the outside then. Gave David, I'm not going to say nowhere to go, but he just, was like a choreographed move, that was. I know Spencer's, you know, not afraid to admit that he's had some time ballet dancing, so...
We've seen him do plenty of amazing runs through the field with some startlingly good overtaking. The way these guys time these things and fit cars into gaps that I don't even see just never fails to... it always amazes me. I don't know how they do it. Time after time you see them slip into gaps and you just wonder how they ever did it.
Yeah,
Judgment of pace and distance and, you know, the size of the gap and everything is just so amazing.
Yeah, you're right. So, 13 and a half minutes in this top 6 battle, Sam Blease has got about a second and a half up the front. But then any of these guys, Stephen Walker in second, Wobbly Kneecaps third, Spencer McCarthy fourth, Gary Craig fifth, David Johansson in sixth. They seem to be passing each other at will.
It's a great track for racing. It's spacious, like you said. You know, there's room there. You can push the limits of the circuit.
Yeah, and even though it's a big track, you know, it's 17 turned 3.7 miles. It's still, you know, on the smaller tracks where you have to work on an overtake. This track is the same. You know, you've got to put your car in the right place at the right time to get the run and things like that. And then, you know, add to that the cars are very, very close in pace. Most of the drivers are very, very close in talent. It just makes overtaking extra hard. But it's not putting off Wobbly Kneecaps. He is putting Stephen Walker under all kinds of pressure and gets the move done for now. I'm sure that's not going to stay like that for the next 5 minutes. And Spencer McCarthy, as you can see, just there is not far behind these two as well. And as they battle, he's getting closer and closer and closer. So we're going to have a 3-car battle for second place. Sam Blease is managing to hold that second and a half gap up the front pretty much. 4.5 minutes left.
He's had that gap. He's got that gap under control, hasn't he? That's been there for quite a while now. He's just driving well within himself. That's a plenty of gap for Sam. It is, and he's not putting himself under any kind of pressure there. He's just waiting for the clock to count down. I don't see these guys catching him, especially while they're having a go at each other and still racing so hard. But we'll see. You never know.
Well, I'll tell you something. That gap at the front is coming down. It's down.
Well, Wobbly's chasing hard. Yeah, he's chasing hard.
Wobbly seems to have got a bit of clearance to Stephen Walker, which is allowing him to concentrate on his lines rather than defending. Stephen Walker has now got a boot full of Spencer McCarthy.
Yeah, he's got his own problems, hasn't he, Stephen, now? With Spencer. Now, that's interesting because Wobbly had some really quick pace in practice. He did. And if he can hold it together, you know, that's... I think he's got time, hasn't he? How many laps have we got?
What are we going to get? Where are they on the track? We might only, he says, might only get one more lap after this. Yeah, I think we will. We might get the white flag this time round. In fact, I'm fairly certain we'll get the white flag this time round. So Wobbly's going to have one lap to get that done, and he's pretty much on the back bumper now.
Wow. Interesting. What a battle, because Sam's a great defender as well as a great attacker.
Well, Spencer McCarthy has just put a move on Stephen Walker to move himself up to third. So I'm going to switch my screen back to this lead battle. And yes, this will be the final lap that they're about to start. Wobbly's got a run on Sam Blease. He's going to throw it down the inside. Sam's going to get a better run round the outside, which he does. Defends that into turn, or out of turn one. Into the...
He's trying again.
And Spencer McCarthy is almost up with him as well. There's going to be 4 cars for the win on this lap. Of these 4 can win this, believe me.
Probably made mincemeat of that his 3-second gap, didn't he?
Yeah, it was about 1.5 seconds. Good run here, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to do anything about or anything with it. He's trying. He's got his nose down the inside again.
It's a hard circuit to defend on, I think,
Yeah,
because of the width
trouble
of it,
is-
and the corners.
Yeah, and he's got to defend, or not defend, but race Spencer McCarthy as well, because Spencer McCarthy wants this win. He's got his nose down the inside of Wobbly. Wobbly's being held up a bit by Sam.
Look at this racing. God, they'll be loving this, won't they?
So they're running a diamond formation at the moment.
How close do you want to? Fantastic. You see this skill and we take it for granted almost, but look how close these guys are. This is amazing skill, but amazing trust in the drivers.
Wobbly took a very wide line coming onto the straight, which has given him a slightly better run down to Sunset. I think Sam Blease, barring any mistakes, is going to run away with this.
Sun's going, but they're giving him a harder time than you would have liked.
Yeah, Wobbly's trying to hold it on the inside on the lumps. It's going to be a drag race to the line, which Spencer McCarthy, I believe, is going to win. He does.
What a last lap. Fantastic. And my screen's up and looking grand, so well done, Sam. Well done, Sams.
Ooh. So, wow. That was a cracking race there, Alan. We'll wait for the cars to finish and then bring the official result. But, anything could have happened there on that last lap. But Sam Blease managed to get his second win of the season, Alan.
Yes, he's making a bit of a habit of getting these short first races, the warm-up races. He's arriving obviously awake. So he's taking advantage of everybody, He's arriving, he's awake, and everyone else is just warming up with the pre-match cups of coffee, and he's away.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something else interesting. We have a reverse top 8 in this series, and that's going to put Mark Draper on pole, and he is no mug.
No, and these top 8 reverses have been interesting and causing some really good racing. Because I'm not normally a fan of them because they don't do me any favours. But with this, it really breaks up the leading pack, and it creates great racing opportunities because people are up against others that they're not maybe up against normally.
Yeah, a lot of in-car posing going on at the moment. Still waiting for Jamie Jeffries across the line.
What to
Chris
Jamie
Needham.
Jeffrey?
He was involved in that 3-car accident near the start. Okay, so let's bring you your official sprint race result. Sam Blees takes away the win for Geodesic Racing White. Spencer McCarthy, after dropping down with a slowdown, got back to second place for Geodesic Racing. Third was Wobbly Kneecaps for BSTV Esports Pink. And Stephen Walker was fourth for Spectre 6. Gary Craig took home fifth position for BSTV. David Johansson came home sixth. Russell Cowell in seventh. Mark Draper eighth, and reverse pole for the feature race. Jamie Wilson ninth. Stephen Goebel in 10th. Arnaud Chenonnier in 11th. Tony Walker 12th. Jason Kylie Haddington in 13th. Don't remember seeing him spin round, so I'll have to watch the replay at some point. Ant Woodward in 14th. Tony Yates 15th. Andrew Littler in 16th. I wonder if he's in a hotel somewhere on his portable rig. Matt Flannery 17th. David Ayres 18th. Roger Morton in 19th. Matt Elmore in 20th. And I think that leaves Jamie Jeffrey in 21st.
Yes, and
Chris Needham in 22nd. Okay, I am going to just disappear to the little boys' room. Alan, please feel free to talk rubbish
Indeed,
to anybody
certainly.
you want to. I shall be
Well,
straight back.
Well, indeed, I'd be very happy to converse with my adoring public out there. Well, I enjoyed that first race, but Sam's there again, isn't he? Setting fast laps and dominating the race from the front. I wonder if we're able to do the same in the second. Couldn't manage it last week, but we've had close racing at the front already, so who knows what's going to happen. It wasn't, I didn't have a very good view of that race, so especially in the dark, I didn't see an awful lot of the mayhem, so I'm hoping that people got through most of everything all right. Everyone seemed to finish in good order. I didn't see a lot of broken cars. Pretty sure everybody likes this track. Our drivers, it's hard. For a flat track, because being an Englishman, I like places like Alton Park with a bit of gradient, or Ruskegan, yes, some really gradient shifts. But this manages to, with its delicious selection of fast corners, manages to keep you very interested and engaged with the drive around it. It's one of the places I come to when I just want to drive. If you've got a new car, it's just one of those places it's really nice to drive and trying to knock tenths off your lap, because it's always possible. There's so many fast corners where you can just shave a fraction. And,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm back.
Oh,
So
well done.
we just got this 5-minute interlude. Not really seeing many people out on track.
No.
Taking, but Sebring is a busy lap, isn't it? You can relax a bit on the back straight, but apart from that, you're fighting flat turns and slowdowns and bumps and other cars as well.
Yes.
Who have the audacity to go on track with you. So yeah, you see a track overlay of Sebring and you think, well, that's quite a nice easy track. And it is an easy track to learn, but it's not an easy track to run quickly. As Sam, thank you very much, puts up the track overlay.
I was just saying, the corners are, you're either leaving a really fast corner or preparing to come to one, and it's ever interesting. It's a beguiling kind of circuit. I really like it a lot.
Yeah, I think I caught the back end of what you was telling everybody, and I fully agree with you. It's a very good track for setting up cars, practicing, trying out new cars, because there's, apart from it being very flat, there's very, very, very different types of corners here. There's what I call long corners that you need to get the entry and the exit right. There's plenty of corners that lead onto a straight where exit is everything. You know, there's little switchbacks. There's a, you know, little kinks. There's very much a bit of everything. But anyway, Alan, it's time for race 2 already. So let's quickly rush through the grid. Mark Draper for Sim Racing Grid Honda goes off on pole. Russell Cowell, Spectre 6 second. David Johansson, Sim Racing Grid Hyundai in third. Fourth is Gary Craig. Fifth, Stephen Walker. Wobbly Kneecap 6th, Spencer McCarthy 7th, Sam Blees race 1 winner in 8th. Jamie Wilson goes off 9th, Stefan Goebel 10th, Arno Chanonier 11th, Tony Walker 12th. In 13th is Jason Haddington, 14th Ant Woodward, 15th Tony Yates, 16th Andrew Littler, 17th Matt Flannery, 18th David Ayres, 19th Roger Morton, 20th is Matt Elmore, 21st Jamie Jeffrey, and 22nd Chris Needham. I think I just managed to get through that with maybe 2 cars left to grid.
Beautiful.
Lights are coming on, and we're green. Oh, that's a terrible start up the front for Russell Cowell. He's going backwards.
Oh, no,
David Johansson gets a jump on Mark Draper, who's under serious pressure now from Wobbly Kneecap, Stephen Walker, and who's that round the outside? Gary Craig. It's 11 wide.
Well, we know this is going to happen. We've got a reverse grid. You know, the guys are going to be trying to pounce.
I think Russell Cowell's been round. Maybe on the nose of Jamie Wilson.
Yo. I saw he was near the front. I was hoping he would make a good start, and because he's a good driver, is Russell, and I thought they might, you know, have a bit of trouble getting by him, but disappointing start for Russell. This one.
Not having a good night tonight. Evening to Gary Walsh on the chat. Hope you're enjoying the action. What am I watching at the moment? I'm watching Wobbly Kneecaps, who is currently in 4th, but this is a battle between Wobbly, Mark Draper and Stephen Walker, and Gary Craig is getting his nose in this as well, as is Spencer McCarthy. Was that Spencer McCarthy? No, it wasn't Spencer McCarthy, because he's at the back for some reason. So that could have been Spencer that went round. No, Russell Cowell's down there as well, so when we look back at that incident, we'll have to try and piece together what happened. That is Sam Blees battling with Gary Craig.
So there we go. So Spencer and Russell at the back of the field. But are they running? Is Spencer running in the pits?
I think he might be out. He's a lap down. David Johansson has skipped away to a near 2-second lead at the moment with all the background behind him.
Yes, it's
right.
behind.
So let's have a look, see if we can see what happened to Spencer. No idea where he was in that. I'm going to try and find it for us.
Oh, it's in the wall.
No, that's Russell.
Oh, that's Russell.
No,
both in the same incident.
Can't seem to find out. No, it looked like Russell went round on the front of somebody else. But anyway, back to the action.
So, well, this is put a different.
Hello.
There we go.
Hello, that was
synchronized
Arnu
spinning
and another in the rebranded Air Smart Racing team. But it's all kicking off for second still. Gary Craig is there at the moment with Wobbly Kneecaps in 3rd, Stephen Walker 4th, Sam Blees in 5th, Jamie Wilson is also in this for 6th, but they are all swapping positions nearly every corner. And we've got a pit stop to come, Alan.
Yes, This hasn't settled down at all yet, has it? It's like about fizzle still.
No, the only person it's settled down for is David Johansson, who is over 3.5 seconds in the lead.
It's just. I'm sure they're aware that he's away, and it's all about. Oh, look who's behind him, Wobbly. We know he's really quick, so he will be chasing. Be interesting to see, and Stephen and Sam. Oh, that's a. Well, hello. So Jamie's just overtaking Sam.
No, yes, he has. Yeah, sorry, yeah. I'm watching the wrong screen. Tony Yates has gone past Sam Blease as well.
Oh, Sam's got an issue, clearly.
Let's have a look. This is Mark Draper. Mark Drifty Draper.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's going to cost him.
That looks like a technical issue.
We saw David do that last week. He had one of those last week where he went straight forward, just absolutely no control, straight into a wall, like an arrow. It was most peculiar. That was just very similar.
But Sam Blease is down to 7th, so he lost positions to Jamie Wilson.
Would have had a slowdown there. It must have been a slowdown, presumably.
It looks like a slowdown. It's not a big issue because he would have disappeared. Jason Haddington is off the track.
Come on, Kylie.
We're
here rooting for you, you know.
Oh, no, that was a hip check.
Oh.
That was a hip check from Jason, and he came off the worst.
Dear.
Yeah, Mark Draper has gone, and so has Arnaud.
Oh, it's such a shame. Shame to lose drivers so early on. We had such a. We didn't get that in the first race. We weren't losing drivers.
Well, we've got those two out. We've got Jason Haddington, Russell Cowell, and Ant Woodward in the pits. Ant is on the chat saying these tyres don't warm up so fast. So I think we may have had an incident, maybe all to himself.
Well, perhaps it would explain why it was so fuzzy earlier on. There was a lot of kinetic action.
Yeah, and the battle for second seems to have calmed itself down now. David Johansson, take note of this, folks at home, has a 5.4 second lead over Wobbly Kneecaps. And we saw Wobbly disintegrate Sam Blease's 1.5 second lead in race 1. Let's see what he can do to David Johansson's lead, although David has just put in the fastest lap of the race with a 2-minute 15.062.
Matt Elmore's just done a 14.
Oh yeah,
just as you were speaking.
14.9, yes.
Goodness me, that's
Matt
the first.
Elmore.
What a cracking lap. That's goodness me. Well done, Matt. It's a cracking lap, mate.
Jamie Wilson and Gary Craig side by side, battling for 4th position. I'm just going to swap my screens over, so
Wobbly's chasing, but he's not closing that gap.
No, it's just over 5 seconds at the moment. Wobbly has only got a half-second gap back to Stephen Walker, so we'll have to see if that's the cause of it.
I suspect Stephen's just saving a bit of fuel and sitting there saving fuel quite happily behind Wobbly, isn't he?
I think you're right. And maybe Wobbly's trying to save a bit as well, even though he's chasing.
Oh, you know, they're both cunning, aren't they? Cunning pair of drivers.
But those pair have got a 2-second gap over Gary Craig as well. But that's now turning into a bit of a battle pack, isn't it? You've got Gary Craig, Jamie Wilson, Sam Blees, Tony Yates, and now Matt Elmore all going to group up together at some point. Meanwhile, I have had cheesecake arrive in the
Oh, thank heavens. I was worried about you there. I had visions of you falling to the floor, malnourished.
It has happened in the past.
It was getting on for half an hour without cake. You can feel the bumps when you see these cars go hurtling under that bridge on Sunset. You can feel the bumps, can't you? Look at that.
Yeah.
Stephen's done a 14.2 now. Goodness me.
Yeah, these times are tumbling, aren't they? A lot of drivers putting in their own personal fastest laps that lap.
Looks like to drive around there in 2 minutes 14 minutes. 2 minutes 14 seconds. That would be an amazing thing.
And Chris Needham putting a move on Roger Morton, who's got a fair bit of rear end damage. I'm sure that's not the first time we've said that about Roger.
Roger's been driving very well recently. He's driving a few different series and doing very well. It's great. He's not doing the grass tracking this year, the autocrossing, so he's concentrating on his iRacing. He's enjoying his iRacing. So that's nice to know.
Well, I've heard that he's not enjoying a few different series. He's basically signed up for every series in the world.
Well, you could see, possibly could put it in those terms. Oh, well, not only that, he's getting everybody else to join him.
Well, it can be a bit of a snowball effect, can't it? So
the team's busy at the moment. But there's an awful lot of good racing going on, isn't there? You know, it's. I think this rebalancing of the TCRs has been an absolute boost to them and for the racing across all the series that people do because they're a popular car. I think it's really re-energised things, you know.
yeah, obviously Hyundai didn't have a very big brown envelope for iRacing this season.
I wouldn't know anything about that kind of stuff.
So 11 and a half minutes in, Wobbly Kneecaps has just broken tonight's lap record with a 2 minute 14.095.
Yes, he's taken a full second off David's time.
Yeah. So when we looked, it was 5.4. It's now 4 seconds.
But that's, I don't think Wobbly's being any threat from Stephen at all. I think, you know, him and Stephen have driven a lot together, haven't they? I think they've probably got that worked out between them to what's going to happen.
Yeah, they are also pulling away from Gary Craig, so.
That's just the sheer pace of those two, isn't it, though? You know, what can you say? You know, they have got that. I don't know, really, it amounts to a few tenths, doesn't it? But they're so consistent with those few tenths, they tot up to seconds.
They certainly do. And we've got a bit of a battle pack going on here. Jamie Wilson, Sam Blees, Matt Elmore, Tony Yates.
He's doing well tonight.
Yeah, another new driver to me. I didn't see that name before.
It's right in the thick of it. Jamie was very quick last week, and Matt has been doing very well too. So you know, he's right. He's in with good company. If he dies in with Matt Elmore, you've got to have good pace, haven't you? Being that part of the field.
Jamie Wilson has just dipped out there.
That's like they're having a bit of fun together.
He lost the place to Sam Blees and almost lost the second place to Matt Elmore there.
Oh, to split! I wouldn't know how to split Jamie and Matt, would you? They're so close.
No.
trying some of this new. I bought one of those big things of beer, keg of beer. Right, because I've never seen one before. It's an interesting thing.
What, you don't
Right.
put straw in the top?
No, you decant it into your glass. It's got a little tap on the bottom. It's got about 5 litres in it. So it's a fairly substantial little cask and quite a full thing. It just about fits in the fridge if you take everything out.
No wonder you keep breaking your arm.
It's all part of my exercise regime. You see the things that physio ladies have me at. She has me doing exercises with my stick. I know she means well, but it's agony.
That sounded very much like a euphemism to me.
But
So what have we been seeing with pit stops so far this season, Alan? Are people taking them early? Are people running late? Are they?
well, it's been very surprising, and they've actually been rather reactive. You know, well, we've only got last week to call on, really, but it's been reactive. You know, people have been because these are very shrewd. These are shrewd racers, and they seem to know what's going on around the field, where I never know what's happening. So they've been taking, there's been incidents of people have been diving into the pits, and there's been some kind of surprise early pit stops that have been strategically based. And but there's no pattern to it. There's no established pattern. We've not got any kind of a pattern to what's going to happen. I really don't know who's going to be early in the pits and who's not. And I'm not sure the drivers know, and because I do think that they do a lot of this on the spot, because they can read the racers and they know this. They're so in control of their fuel usage. They know exactly how far they're going to go, which is not something I ever do.
Yeah, I always find Sebring as a bit of a double-edged sword, because people do like running in clean air, but the tow can be massive, especially down the long back straight. So it's always a toss-up whether you pit out of clean air or whether you pit out of a group. And like you say, I think maybe we'll get the domino effect tonight. Everybody will just keep running, and then somebody will dive in the pits, and then everybody will follow.
Well, that's what happened last week, but we did have a couple of surprise early stops. But then if somebody's carrying a bit of damage, they'll often come in at the earliest convenience because they're losing a bit of time. And it's
yes, exactly. I don't know what. Obviously, we couldn't find what happened to Spencer, but he's on track. He's up to 16th, and he's just put in the fastest lap of the race.
Sounds like Spencer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder how far he's going to get. What have we got? Oh, he's still got a fair old chunk of time. Over 20 minutes. That's a lot of time for somebody like Spencer. We've seen the way he carves through fields.
So Stan Belize has left Jamie Wilson behind, but Jamie Jeffrey has tagged onto the back of this pack, so it's back to a 4-car battle being led by Jamie Wilson, followed by Matt Elmore, Tony Yates, and then Jamie Jeffrey.
I'm looking at the front here, and I'm seeing that Stephen has got in front of Wobbly.
He has, hasn't he?
And I'm just wondering if they've actually just swapped to see if Stephen can make an impression.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say that. I saw the gap go back out to David to 5 seconds, and then those two swapped over. So whether they're talking to each other and Wobbly's gone, look, at the moment there's nothing I can do about him, you go in front, see what you can do. And incidentally, Sam Blease has just got the fastest lap of the race.
13. What a time that is.
It certainly is. You would guess it would be fairly cool out there, but I'm going to have a look. Yeah, 72 Fahrenheit, the track.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, good conditions. It's always faster in the cooler air at night.
Yep. Grippier tyres and more air into the engine.
There you go. See, there's a professional view. I'm just a keen amateur, but you know, I've been there and done it.
I've been called professional at a lot of things. Racing wasn't one of them.
I was thinking commentary, maybe.
Yeah. No, I'm professional sarcasm I can do.
Oh, there you go. Well, I think that's just one string of your many attributed bow, to be honest.
I can professionally upset people.
Now, come along, you do that. You were doing that as a keen amateur as well, before you turned pro.
According to Sam, I can do professional grumping as well. Although I will say I learned all of my grumping from Sam and Pete.
I was in fact talking about myself, Clyde, not you this time.
Oh, there you go, see? Point proven.
So, is Stephen closing the gap? And is Spencer closing the gap?
Stephen very slightly.
Stephen slightly. Goodness.
Stephen is definitely... Sorry, Spencer is definitely catching Roger. Jamie Wilson in the pits. Jamie Jeffrey in the pits. Team JB in the pits.
I would suspect that Spencer's catching everybody. It'd be interesting to see if he goes into the pits and then take the review.
Yeah, well, we're on board of Tony Walker. That's Stefan Goebel in front of him. You can't miss that livery.
Great to see Stefan back with us last week.
Yeah, like Stefan.
Yeah.
Good racer. Should have won a hatful of races. But always seems to get bad luck when he's leading. Very weirdly. It's like somebody puts a hex on him. Spencer McCarthy, as I expected in my head anyway, is also in the pits.
I wondered whether he was going to maybe hang it out as long as he could, just to see.
Well, I think he had to go one way or the other. He had to go early or late. He couldn't just do it in the middle. He had to try and do something different to what those cars in front of him were doing.
Yes.
And I think perhaps because they stayed out, he has come in.
Yes, well, he might get. He might inherit a bit of pit track. Yeah, so you know. And Spencer's very good at reading races and making these decisions on ad hoc.
Yeah, Sam Blease has got past Gary Craig and is now up to 4th. I think that happened a while ago though, and I just missed it, or I forgot that I've already said it. You never know with me.
Sam has been going remarkably quickly, though, hasn't he? He's just done that 13 lap, so we know he's flying.
Yeah, David Johansson currently in that weird, leading the race, got a decent gap, and you're just questioning yourself. Oh, I'm going to pit this time, and then you get halfway around the lap, and you're like, I'm not going to pit this time, and then I should have pitted that time, and yeah, it's one of them. If he doesn't win this race, he will wish he did whatever the opposite was. Sam Blease brings that fastest lap time down again. He's now on a 13.663. Tony Walker in the pits. David Ayres in the pits.
Okay, so
Roger Morton in the pits.
Yeah, I would expect them all to go in together. They've got a whole block down there, haven't they? So I'm wondering what's going to happen with it when the first 5 go in.
Yeah, and are they all going to go in together? Matt Flannery is in pit lane.
We know our great Sam is at pit stops as well. He's got 4 seconds at the moment. It wouldn't surprise me if he had less than that when they come out.
Yeah, well, the lead gap is 4.6 seconds, so it's come down a little bit, but nothing major.
I
We're
think
over
David's
halfway.
he's doing a fantastic job at the front. You know, there's a lot of stress in that position. You know, you're sitting there
Yeah,
at the front, aren't you? You know, he's never had a really comfortable margin. You know, people are nibbling at the edge. He must be right on the edge of his performance, trying
he's
to
certainly
hold this
not looked
position.
back though, has he? He's,
No,
you
no,
know, he
no.
got the lead
He's
and
doing
he's gone.
brilliantly. I think. Yeah, he's doing brilliantly. It's just not. He's not succumbing to the pressure. He's not making any of the mistakes that people do when they get under pressure. You know, and he's been comfortably over 4 seconds for a long time.
Yeah, what is he going to do with his pit stop? I think he's going to run it dry, you know.
I think you're probably right.
Or
It's
wait for the go.
hard to
Oh,
think
no,
why he
no,
would want to.
no. No, he's in.
He's in.
He's in. I was just going to say maybe he'll wait for the cars behind him to pit and then pit the following lap, but he's blinked.
Yeah, so now he's everything.
As
Yeah,
is
everybody's
Stephen.
followed.
Yeah, Wobbly stayed out, Sam Blease has stayed out, but Stephen Walker has followed him in, Gary Craig has followed him in, Tony Yates has followed him in, Stefan Goebel has followed him in.
They must have been close to the fuel, these guys.
And Spencer McCarthy and Roger Morton, after their pit stops, Spencer has come out right behind Roger.
So if Sam's got anything in his pit stop magic, he's in a really good position to actually do something with it now.
Yeah, well, I looked at it as I saw David turn right for pit lane, and it was 4.2 seconds. So Spencer trying to make that move on Roger around the outside, which is difficult, but he'll get a cut back.
There's
A bit of door rubbing there.
All the gaps, none of these gaps are race winning gaps, are they? Everybody's still in with the shout of all the things they're racing for.
Yeah, I'd say I'm really interested to see when Wobbly and Sam pit.
Oh, Roger!
I don't know whether he got help there or he went on his own.
No, I think he went on his own. He's just pushing hard on.
I was looking at the gaps on the screen and see it out the corner of my eye. This was a tough battle between these two. There was door banging on the way in. Yeah, he's gone on his own, tapped the wall. Actually did a really good job not to end up right on Spencer's front bumper.
Yeah, brilliant counter steer.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what goes on with that gap once Wobbly and Sam have pitted. Can whatever they're doing with their pit strategy, can that eat into that 4-second lead that David had?
Yes.
Wobbly is in. Sam is in. So we are going to find out in not very much time. Are we going to have a battle to the end?
Oh, we're going to have that no matter what, I'm for sure.
We currently have Chris Needham, Stefan Goebel in front, and David Ayres behind on screen. Wobbly Kneecaps is out. Sam Blease is at pit exit. David Johansson is going to take back the lead. I'm convinced. Let's wait for that gap to settle down. He didn't, did he? Wobbly got him.
Wobbly got him.
Stephen Walker's in there as well now. This is going to kick off. This is going to be 4 for the lead, I'm sure, because Sam Blease is going to get himself back on those 3 in front.
Well, that's
good pit stop by Wobbly.
Well, I wonder if we know that he cuts it a bit tight on fuel sometimes. I hope he hasn't done that this time to actually make this gap.
Again, we'll find out.
Mr. Johansson's going to be very disappointed to see Wobbly in front of him when he had a bit of a gap there, you know.
Yeah.
So let's see how he deals with that. It's we don't want him to, if he Wobbler will try to gap him really. We know it's fast, but this is a great race for Tove, like you say. So and he's rocking.
I'm sure Sam can get pit stop times up for us, but as the leader, I find that you're always a bit cagey in your pit stop because you've got everything to throw away.
Yeah, especially if you're not kind of used to it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that David is used to being
you
in
can
front.
see it there, can't you? The pit lane time, the big difference. Whereas second and third are just throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at it to get the best possible pit stop they can. So that might have something to do with it, but don't rule David Johansson out of this yet.
No, I don't think he's. I think he's got the pace touch to stay with Wobbly.
Well, they're your two questions, aren't they, for the next 10 minutes? Can David stay with or... Hello? No idea what that was on the screen then. Can David stay with or get past Wobbly, and has Wobbly got enough fuel to get to the end, or does he need to do a bit of saving?
And what's Mr. Walker going to be doing?
Well, at the moment, nothing.
Oh, he's got 10 minutes.
Yeah, he's got time. There's no doubt about that. But he's got a hard charging Sam Blease behind him as well. No pressure at the moment. This is Jamie Jeffrey trying to get past Tony Yates on your screen at the moment.
Jamie drove fantastic last week. He did. Podium performances.
Yeah, he's a good. I should say he's a good kid. He's bloody grown up now. Known Jamie for a lot of years. Shout out to Jamie's dad, Julian, as well, if he's watching. The Wanderer, as we used to call him. I won't go into those stories any further.
It's nice to see David running with Steph. It is. It's got Spencer chasing them. And then there's a bit of a gap to Roger and Andy.
Yeah, Spencer McCarthy is drawing in David Ayres, but rapidly running out of time.
David's driving very well tonight. Good
8
to see him.
minutes to go.
Now. Well, David's sitting there, isn't he? And Wobbly's, we know Wobbly's comfortable in front. Oh, look at that. He's done the 13.4. Well, there, and David's in the 13s as well. He's in the 13 and a half. This is bringing out the times, isn't it? Look at this. Goodness me. Sam's in the 13s. Yeah. We see this time and time again.
Or Stephen Walker to close that gap.
Well, exactly. He, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't actually become part of the story at the end here.
Yeah, Stephen really, and Sam to that effect, really want David to start trying to make a move on Wobbly, because that's on pace. The gap is not going to close, but once they start fighting, we know the gap will close in a hurry.
Yes.
Jamie Jeffrey and Tony Yates still duking it out. Jamie Jeffrey has been alongside a couple of times, but not managed to get the deal done. He's going to have another go now.
Oh, surely won't be able to do it there.
No, but he's tried the undercut. Unfortunately, that
Wow.
then goes into another left-hander, so you haven't really got enough room there to get that done. But
But
he's,
the pressure applied constantly
yeah, he's
can often make a difference, can't it?
doing what you need to do. You need to be annoying. You need to keep that car in front, guessing where you're going to go next. And maybe a dive at somewhere that you would never normally try it, and it's just enough to put that driver off. I've seen Ash Sutton do it so many times in British touring cars at Donington. Just overtake somebody where nobody ever normally overtakes. And it's usually a case of somewhere that's got a very wide entry, and you throw it up the inside, and it just stops them turning in, and the position is yours.
I think that's easier if you're Ashton.
Yeah, possibly. I've seen people do it unintentionally as well.
Well, this is a fascinating scrap between, because David's really trying to pressure Wobbly, because Wobbly does make the occasional mistake, and it's 5 minutes. Can Wobbly do 5? Because the way David's stalking him, he just needs just one slight mistake, doesn't he? And he's going to be passed.
Yeah, it also depends on, has Wobbly had as much beer as Alan has tonight? That can affect his racing.
That can, and should he have put it in his fuel tank?
Yeah, that is a question that we do not know the answer to yet, but we will find out in the next 5 minutes.
Hello, what's happening here?
So this is the Jamie
Are
Tony.
they still going side by side? They're
Well,
side by side a lot of the time.
Jamie got it done there, but then couldn't get the car wound up in time, which has now put Tony back with him. So they're neck and neck, side by side again. Next turn is a right-hander, which will favour Jamie. And
Great
now,
racing though, isn't it? Look at this.
yeah,
How close do you want
very
it?
clean.
Just absolutely look at the trust they've got in each other. This is so clean and prolonged as well. Over a long time, and they've been dicing hard, and I bet they're absolutely loving it. I mean,
Yeah.
I would be.
Yeah, well, Jamie will be hoping he can now sail away into the distance, and Tony will be going, "No, you don't, my boy. I'm coming with you."
Clearly, very evenly matched.
That battle is for 8th position, and there's another one in the background there between. That might be a bit further back from where I was looking. Spencer McCarthy is almost on the back of David Ayres now, who is on the back still of Stefan Goebel. So there's a couple of positions there for Spencer if he can get past.
He's only got 3 minutes. What's that, 1 lap?
They'll get. I'm just watching the leader. I'll have a look when he goes. He's on the back straight at the moment, so they might squeak. No, sorry, he's not on the back straight. I lied profusely there. I think this could be the white flag out at the end of this lap for the leader.
Oh, we want 2 laps. Come on.
Okay, well, this is wobbly now. What's he? You get a little twitch there. And he was very wide there, but had enough.
He got
in
the
hand,
gap, hadn't he? Yeah. If David had been as close as he was on the previous lap, that would have been a lot riskier and a lot more, maybe a lot more penalty involved with it, because he got away with that, really.
Yeah, they are going to get the white flag at the end of this lap. There is less than 2 minutes to run and more than 2 minutes to complete a lap.
Well, Barney, I hope you're washing this week.
Yes, I'm sure he'll be waving his white budgie smugglers as we go past the line. So, David Johansson, what have you got? 1 lap, wobbly kneecaps. Have you got a full lap of fuel in the car?
Well, it's certainly not been able to save any fuel at the front end, has it? So if it was hoping it was going to come out and, you know, just cruise around and save a bit of fuel, he's been disappointed.
Ooh.
And the fastest laps are coming out. Oh, is that Stefan?
Yeah. So he's Spencer McCarthy got past David Ayres, and then it looks like Stefan.
Oh, he's next on the menu.
All on his own. Yes, he did.
There he goes. Yeah.
Spencer goes past. David Ayres goes past as well. Trying to put pressure on Bob the kneecaps. You're witnessing it firsthand now. Still a way to go on this lap.
You're not wobbly enough for David at the moment, my friend. All too straight and purposeful.
Yeah, Wobbly has had some serious pace tonight. Let's not take that away from him.
Certainly not going to take anything away from him.
Still not going to get drive every night, but
Well, it's a very obvious driver of the night for us. It's an easy one tonight.
Carl's not racing mate, so yeah. So can David get close? I don't think he can.
Oh, he's trying the exotic flashy lights, isn't he?
Yeah, there was a slow car on the inside. They may have been flashing at that. Wobbly needs to keep it tight here, which he's done. Gets a good exit. That should be all over. And the winning feature race for Wobbly kneecaps.
That was a great drive by Wobbly, and a great drive by David as well, I think.
Yeah, that was a very good second place there. Stephen Walker comes home third. Sam Blees, 2 minutes, 13 seconds, .143 on that final lap.
Oh, nearly got in the 12s. Goodness me. What driving. Fantastic.
So we're waiting for the, I want to say minor positions, but not really minor positions. Jamie Jeffrey comes home 8th, Tony Yates in 9th. Tony Walker will be next across the line, Chris Needham. Then there's going to be Spencer McCarthy. We see if we can find out what happened to him.
Fireworks, looking very pretty.
I'm just hearing David Johansson on the driver chat saying that he forgot to practice his pit stop. That probably cost him a race win. So we're waiting on Roger Morton, Andrew Littler and Matt Flannery, and then we can bring you your official feature race result. Roger crosses the line, Andrew crosses the line, and where's Matt? Has he stopped on track? Nope, there he is.
There he is. Bring her own Matt.
Sunset Bend. Don't bin it now, camera's on you. And across the line for a 17th place finish.
I expect you'll be quite happy.
So, your official result for the feature race, which is also known as round 4. Wobbly Kneecaps takes home the win for BSTV Esports Pink, with David Johansson in second for Sim Racing Grid Hyundai. Stephen Walker is third for Spectre 6 with the number and not the letters. Sam Blees came home fourth for Geodesic Racing White, and Gary Craig fifth for BSTV. Matt Elmore, great drive, sixth. Jamie Wilson in seventh. Jamie Jeffrey in eighth. Tony Yates in 9th, and Tony Walker rounds out your top 10. Chris Needham came home 11th, with Spencer McCarthy on a recovery drive in 12th. David Ayres 13th, with Stephen Goble in 14th. Roger Moulton 15th, Andrew Littler 16th, Matt Flannery in 17th, Russell Cowell in 18th, and Jason Haddington in 19th. Failed to finish, Mark Draper in 20th, and Arnaud Chenonnier in 21st. Well, Alan.
Yes.
That was very interesting.
Very typical Sebring racing, don't you think?
Yeah, I was gonna word it slightly different, but you're right. It was typical Sebring, and it was typical BSTV TCR.
Well, there you go. Can't say better than that, Clyde.
Yeah, and it's strange because that's a very short summary, but it sort of hits the nail on the head. That's exactly what it was. Especially in that feature race at one point, you would have maybe not put your house on it, but David Johansson commanding lead. What is going to happen in the pit stops? How many times have we seen the pit stops change things? And yet again tonight, the pit stops change things. I was watching it. He almost got out in front of Wobbly. If he had got out in front of Wobbly, maybe he could have carried home the win. He didn't, but he did split Wobbly and Stephen Walker. Those two then drove away really from Stephen Walker, and yeah, it was still one of those that had us guessing, didn't it? We really didn't know.
Well, we knew that
questions,
Wobbly had got
wasn't
the
there?
pace, didn't we? We knew that Wobbly
Yeah.
had got incredible pace tonight, and I was expecting to see him use it, but I'm really thrilled that he's actually won this race. I think he deserves it because David put up a heck of a fight for it. At the end there, we're sitting here, but he was right up against Wobbly and pushing hard and really trying to get him to make a mistake. A little slow down, a wheel on the grass, anything could have caused it, couldn't it? It was a very tense, close racing, and great to see David pushing Wobbly so hard. After Wobbly got in front, he must have been frustrated to see him just pull out like that. It must have been very frustrating for the lad. But it made for great racing for us, that's for sure. And of course,
It certainly did. Right. Well, I can see we've at least got our 2 race winners in the booth. So I'm going to kick off and bring in our sprint race winner, who magically, because I always get it right, was in mid-sentence. Sam Blees, welcome to the booth.
Hello.
Hello. Before we talk about your race, could you clear up what happened to Spencer in race 2 for us?
I'm not sure where he went, but he wasn't back by the time the race started.
Okay, so you got it there first hand, folks. Spencer went for a foggy and didn't make it back in time. So let's talk about the race. First race, I don't want to say it was a cakewalk, but if you look at the official result, it says Sam Blees starting position first, Sam Blees finishing position first. It wasn't that easy, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was very much harder than that. It was fine until about 4 laps to the end, where I got a horrible amount of wheel damage off one of the curbs. And after that, I suddenly lost about a second a lap because my steering was 30 degrees to the right when I was going straight. It was completely straight going through turn 1. And then as I was braking for the harder braking zones, I was having to... So for a right-hander like Sunset or Cunningham's or something, I was starting at 30%, putting on the brake and then having to straighten the wheel up because for some reason that's what happened with the suspension, and then turn it back to the right to turn in.
Interesting. So, we was luckily, you've just put the world to right, because we thought Wobbly was quick, but obviously he wasn't. It was just Sam had a damaged car. So again, another exclusive for you tonight, folks. Sam Blees has admitted that Wobbly is crap.
Such admission. I mean, do you want that in writing? Can I make a poster or something?
Oh no, there's plenty of posters that say that already.
Yeah. To be fair.
Race 2, starting from 8th. Never easy. We know how close, especially the top 10 in this series are, and you can start 8th and finish 8th. You can start 8th and get yourself onto the podium, or you can start 8th and have a horrible death and not finish at all. What are your tactics starting from 8th place? Are you going for every gap? Are you taking it easy? Are you just trying to survive to lap 3 and then do something about the cars in front of you?
More of the latter. I'm trying to get the car around, keep it alive, save a bit of fuel where it's possible. Where there's not a move on, I'm just lifting and coasting and braking a bit later into the corners. But it's very difficult because you've got Jamie Wilson is a nightmare for it, to be honest, because he sees you lift off and he goes, right, I'm going for that. And he's a very good driver. He's very clean, but he forces you to have that battle. And if you don't have that, if you don't defend, you don't keep that position, you're going to lose the time, and you're going to lose the time fighting. So it's always a case of knowing who's around you, knowing who's likely to fight and who's not likely to, and then trying to save the fuel. Today I got a slow down as well. I got a slow down on lap 1, I think. So I ended up dropping. I think I was up to about 5th, and that put me back to 9th or 10th. Which I think ultimately is why I couldn't get near the front. I had really good pace at the end, but I just couldn't. I was too far back before the pit stops to get there, I think.
Well, yeah, but we can see already. We're 4 rounds in. Again, as it normally does, this is going all the way. So a win and a 4th place is not to be scoffed at. So congratulations on that. Any shout outs you want to give before we bring Wobbly in and then bin him straight away and tell him we've got technical issues?
Well, I mean, I think I should probably try and drag this out to longer than last week's interview just to annoy Wobbly. I won't. Thanks to BSTV as ever, and you guys, and Clyde in particular, mate. It's good to see you back, and nice to hear your voice again.
Yeah, it's just a guest appearance, mate.
I know. Well, either way, it's
he doesn't want me.
Well, I mean, can you blame? No, we won't go.
True, yeah.
But no, thanks to you guys for organising. It is a cracking league, and I mean, the racing tonight was excellent. It was really close, hard fought, but clean and fair racing, and it's just what you want. It's great to see. I mean, congrats to David on the podium. It's great to see you guys coming in and competing at the front and battling and racing with us. Great night racing all round. Thanks to everyone involved, and well done to Wobbly, well done to David, and thanks everyone for turning up and putting it on.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on your results tonight, and we'll see you next time out, Sam Blees.
Cheers, everybody.
Good night, Sam.
Okay, so
he got flat because we did a mega interview last week.
Yeah,
we went over about an hour.
I heard he was after Tyler Newitt's record. So this pains me to say, but let's welcome our race 2 winner, Wobbly Kneecap, to the booth.
Welcome, thank you. Welcome back, Clyde.
Thank you. So
well done, Wobbly.
Let's talk about race 1 first. Immense battle up the front there. Sam, Spencer, you, Stephen, Gary, David, you was all in it at some point. You was all swapping positions. From a driver's perspective, that has to be absolutely fantastic.
It was really great to have like a 4 or 5 car battle for the lead. I got a bit frustrated because I got the slowdown like in the beginning, but managed to fight back. And I knew that because we were in the same Discord as Sam, I knew that at the end of the race Sam had his wheels set out of alignment. So I knew he was struggling on the right-hand corners, and I knew Spencer was quick as well because we've been running an official together, and we like side by side half the lap. And it was great. It was just so hard to pass somewhere because like right in front of me there were two cars side by side, and I didn't want to get pipped. And then I knew I had to make a move on Sam, and then Spencer suddenly like, out of the blue came, stuck his nose in, and we. Oh man, it was crazy. And since we're all in Discord, it was well. It might have looked a little bit chaotic, but it was quite orchestrated. Let's keep it at that politely. But it was great fun. I'm glad that I'm racing TCR again. This is why I race, man. It was great.
Yeah, in my head, it was all about was Wobbly going to catch Sam, and then can Wobbly get past Sam, and then it was like, where did Spencer come from?
Me and Sam started fighting. Yeah, and I wanted to. We were side by side in the first corner, and I knew I had a little moment in the middle of the corner, and I had slided wide, and I didn't want to hit Sam because I would have tapped his rear. So I let off a little bit, and that's why I had to tuck in again, and it cost us like a second, and that's where Spencer came from out of the blue.
Yeah, and then race 2. Mark Draper got an absolute stinker of a start from pole. David Johansson got into the lead and sort of second down to about 6th. We're all battling, and he eventually got himself out to about just over 5 seconds in the lead. And then it looked like yourself and Stephen Walker were working together rather than battling each other. You was trying to get that gap back down again.
Yeah, so I kind of guessed that I knew I had to pace on David, but it was like 5 seconds off the road. So I brought it down to 4, and then I had a moment in the first corner, and Steven passed me. So and it wasn't, to be honest, it kind of saved my race because I was able to fuel save behind him, and I did a mega in lap, and that's how I passed him.
It was all on the pit stop. I see David's in the interview room, so we'll ask him when we bring him in. But I'm sure I heard David on the chat saying he forgot to practice his pit stop. There's you coming round the corner. There's Stephen coming round the corner. There's David coming out of the pits, and I'm like, I think David's got this. I think he's managed to hold off, and then you got past him. But he wouldn't go away, would he? He was not so much putting pressure on you, but he was there. You knew that one slight mistake, a couple of wheels on the grass, a slow down, and he was going to be past you like a shot. But ultimately managed to hold on to it till the end.
Yeah, he had a good pace. I think I had like a 10 for 2 over him if I really had to push. And I did push, like I think I pushed like 2 laps in a row, and then I gapped him to 0.8, and then I was like, okay, if I need to push, I can, and I didn't want to mess up, so I started the last lap trying to get the fastest lap because I knew Sam did the fastest lap, and I cocked up I think Le Mans or something, and then I was just safe. And in David's he was really good on, especially on the hairpin. Maybe it's the car, maybe it was me doing something weird. That was the only bit on the track, the only part on the track where I was kind of insecure if I was able to hold him off. But I got a I came back, I had a good pit stop. I mean, it's been a long while since I won a league race, so I'm happy with this.
Yeah, well, hopefully it'll be a long while before you win another one. Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, good to have you back, Clyde. And I see that Sam is doing cameras, which is great to give some relief to Pete. So a big shout out to Pete because he's been taking on a lot lately, and we've been trying to help him out where he can. And I just want to thank him for everything he did the last couple of months. And as well, Ellen, obviously, for joining the booth so I can race this season. And the other guys, which I've been fighting against, Spencer, David, Sam, Gary for letting me pass, Steven for leaving the room. I mean, too much people to thank. And I forgot Matt. Matt flattered me because my money is always on Matt.
Okay, and obviously Matt won both races tonight, so
yes.
Well done on that bet, Wobbly.
Yes.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us in the booth. Congratulations on your win in the feature race, and we'll see you next time out. Wobbly kneecaps.
Cheers, mate.
Well done, Wob.
Okay, so now
Oh.
let's bring in David Johansson. David, welcome to the booth.
Thank you. Didn't expect
Uh,
this, to be honest.
Well, to be honest, mate, you had a hell of a lot of pace tonight, and just clear something up for the viewers. Did I not hear you in the driver chat saying you forgot to practice your pit stop?
Yeah, I forgot that. I should have done at least one of them in the
Oh,
test session. So I just forgot. I'm not used to doing pit stop in this car, so
yeah.
it
So
didn't come to mind.
that could be the win that got away then.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
let's go back to the sprint race. So you finished sixth.
Yep.
There was some. Was speaking to Sam and Wobbly there. Um, top six cars. There was some absolutely fantastic, clean battling. And you guys just seem to be swapping positions on every corner willy nilly, and me and Alan couldn't keep up with it.
yeah. It was a great racing. When the guys started to close up on me, I just got a little bit stressed and starting to doing some small mistakes. That's why I dropped down a bit from like I think I was up to P2 at best. So
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
you
you were
certainly
driving
was.
brilliantly, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of pressure up there, David, isn't it? You know, it really is.
yeah, it is.
And obviously, being new to the league, it sometimes can be daunting to come into an established league with drivers that know each other very well, and you're trying to work out, who you can race against, who you can't. But fantastic job, and that leads on to race two. And I know everybody wants us to talk about this, so the everything fell for you at the start of the race. Mark Draper, stinker of a start. You get into the lead. The next four cars are all battling each other. Your lead is growing and growing and growing to over 5 seconds. Then we get to pit stop time. So we know that you hadn't practiced your pit stops, but did you know when you was coming in, or did you react to something else? I know I've done it myself. Why is everybody pitting? I better pit as well. What was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, well, if I go back to the start, Mark couldn't get second gear in, had some technical issue there. That's why he cocked up that time.
Ah, right.
But
Thank
he
you.
got a good launch from the start line though. But yeah, then he just couldn't get in the second gear. I got a perfect start and just flew away, and I had the perfect scenario with people battling. I could just drive away. I
And
felt pretty comfortable all the way to the pit stop when I just realized, oh yeah, I got a pit stop in this race. So I was like getting nervous a few laps before that. I'm running crew chief too, so I know when I need to pit. He tells me. But yeah, coming into the pit stop, I had a slow entry and then just a bad launch from the pit box. So that's what
right,
messed me up.
and coming out of the pits, it was so close, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But you managed to split Wobbly and Stephen,
Yep.
and the pair of you then drove away from Stephen, to be fair. At any point in those last few laps, did you think you had a chance of getting past him?
I just felt comfortable and pretty pleased to be P2, so I was just trying to hold on to him and just put pressure on him, see if he would make a mistake and just take the opportunity when that would happen, or if that would happen. So it's more like that, just hanging on.
It looked like that as well,
Steven
David.
because I know Steven is quick too, so just try to minimize my own mistakes too. So
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch because you could see that you had good pace and that you were trying to put a bit of pressure on Wobbly, and we didn't know if it was going to, like you said, one small mistake and that's the game changer, isn't it? And you were right in there with right till the end.
Yeah,
in the
he
fight,
got a
right
little.
to the end.
I heard his interview, and he said he started push a few laps, but I think I myself had some small mistakes here and there in those laps. That's why he got a bigger gap. So
Right. Yeah,
Well,
well,
I got help from the little slipstream there is too, so that's why I managed to hold on. Because otherwise, I think he has a bit better pace than me.
Yeah, well, it was a fantastic race and a fantastic result for yourself. Are there any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to congratulate Tony Yates with the P6 in a feature race. He's a teammate of mine. He did a great job. He's very new to TCR. Haven't done much races. I think he just started a few weeks ago. So it's an awesome
Excellent. Always good
finish
to
for
see.
him.
we
Yeah,
noticed him, didn't we, Clive? We noticed
We
him
certainly
in
did.
in
Yeah.
the commentary.
He's in my little black book at the moment. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
He races a Renault Clio in like hill climb in real life. So,
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
but a pretty standard car, but he does that.
I was in a Clio only on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Anyone else?
Yeah. Well, to all the others who's racing, who was fair racing, good, give no dirty tricks or so. So just fun to race.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, glad you're enjoying the league, and congratulations on your results tonight, David Johansson.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done.
Okay, guys, so that is the interviews over. We now go on to the bit that everybody hates in the booth, anyway, and that is driver of the evening. Alan hates it especially tonight because Carl's not racing, so he can't vote for Carl. Sam hates it. What was the technical issue he was having? He missed most of race one, so has no idea what happened. So he's going to have to make it up as he goes along. So because of that, I shall start off.
Oh no.
This is going to be a little bit long-winded. Great double results for Wobbly, David, Stephen, Sam, Gary. Any one of them could take driver of the evening for their double results. Mentioned in dispatches, Matt Elmore started 20th in race 2, finished 6th. Jamie Jeffrey started 21st, finished 8th. Either of them two could get it. Sam Blees won a race. Wobbly Kneecaps won a race. I don't vote for winners, so sorry guys, you two are out. But David just stole my thunder there. Somebody that I've not seen race before, and somebody that I think had an excellent result. I'm sure at the moment Tony Yates is not a top 10 driver, but he got a top 10 in the feature race, which can be the hardest race to do it in. He also started in 15th position, so he made up 6 places. So I'm going to give my driver of the evening vote to Tony Yates. Over to you, Alan.
Oh, thank you for leaving me with David. That's very kind of you. I'm going to give it to David because, I think he's done a fantastic performance tonight and a very nice interview. Delighted to have done as well as he did, and that goes a long way with me as well. He's thrilled to have driven so well tonight, and I'm thrilled for him. And he was right in the mix with Wobbly, and splitting Wobbly and Stephen was fantastic. And he looked comfortable to me. He looked comfortable there, and he was waiting for Wobbly to make a mistake. And on another week, he could have easily have won this race.
Yeah, he certainly didn't look out of place, did he? Running up there at the front.
No, and he gets my vote.
Okay, so Alan's vote to David Johansson. Sam, over to you.
Best name in the field, Sam, so I'm voting for him. And for real though, he won first race and finished 4th in the second one. I think he's the best average of them all. So that's my vote.
Excellent.
I think that's very fair because Sam already deserves it, I think.
Well, that keeps everything nice and square for Pete to sort out next week, doesn't it? Anyway, guys, it's been a fantastic night of racing, but we need to close this broadcast because I know some of us need to get to bed and get up for work in the morning. So a big shout out to all the drivers for you know, we say it week in, week out, but they put on an absolutely fantastic show, and Sebring was no different. Shout out to everybody that join us on the chat. We certainly do appreciate that. Big thanks to Alan for joining me in the booth, and a special big thank you for Sam, who has sort of retired from the cameras and the commentating, but we was in a bit of a pickle this week, and didn't hesitate to step up, and despite some technical issues at the start, managed to get everything running nice and smooth. So thanks for that, Sam. That's about it for tonight. I don't think we've got a race this weekend, but Pete and Alan will be back next Wednesday with this series, where these gladiators will continue their battles. So time for me to say goodnight. I'll then let the guys say goodnight, and we'll close the broadcast. So good night, everybody. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.
Good night, folks. Been as joy as ever, and see you next week.
And good night, everybody. See you next time.